Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. I was sitting here talking to myself like a goddamn idiot. Because I'm streaming on OBS instead of Streamlabs. I thought I was live. I wasn't live this whole time. I was like, man, chat really does not give a fuck that I'm here today, huh? I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's fair. There we go. Hi, guys. What's up? What's up? How we doing? How we doing? We got a big day ahead of us. A lot of good stuff to get to today. Today is a monumental day for the channel. Not because of the full card breakdown we're going to do today, which I don't think I've done as much research for this main fight. I don't know. I haven't done as much research in a long time for what we did for this main fight on the card between Prates and JDM. It's been a while. But I think I've got a solid idea of what this fight's going to look like. I think. God, I feel like this happens on OBS sometimes. I haven't streamed on OBS in a long time. I feel like my camera's a little shaky. I'm not super smooth. I don't know. Maybe it's not too bad. But I would have liked to restart, but it's too late now. Oh my God, Shoka, thank you for joining the fan club, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, should I say, thank you for 6 months within the fan club, Shoka. Really love you, buddy. Really, really love you. You're a great guy, Shoka. I really appreciate it. Shoka, you being a member, let's just say there are some perks that we're going to reveal today that I think are going to... You guys know how we separate BC and AD with the birth of Christ? I think we need to do that today. Because what I'm going to reveal today for members, I think we're going to need a BC for what it meant to be a member, and then an AD for what it meant to be a member after today. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Let me see. Maybe I got to maybe let me unplug my camera and replug it back in and see if that does it. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if that did it. Let's see if that did it. Turn on camera. Fuck, what did I do? Fuck, what did I do? Fuck, what did I do? I broke it, guys. I broke it. Oh! No, there we go. Oh, and there we go. And then all my problems are fixed. Hold on, I need to change the properties real quick. Get rid of that. There we go. Get a little darker. Beautiful. Okay, we did it. We did it. We did it. God, and you guys say I don't know how to use fucking computers, man. I so do. But yeah, we gotta fucking... I'm really excited about today, guys. Oh my God, Colt Killer Gaming. Thank you for the $2.80, buddy. How does a sized up 185-pound Piotr Yan do versus Hamzat? It's a great question you're asking, Colt Killer. The thing is, though, man, you do sort of run into issues, I think, when you start scaling up fighters size-wise. You just run into issues there. Here's the thing. People, they like to throw around this idea that if you sized up any flyweight, any bantamweight, then they would just destroy every single heavyweight because these weight classes are more skilled, which I agree that the lower weight classes tend to be more skilled than the higher weight classes. But the problem is the higher weight classes have attributes that the lower weight classes just don't. So let's think about this. If we sized up Petr Yan to 185, he's going to lose a lot of speed. Obviously, sizing him up to 185, though, is not as bad as sizing him up to heavyweight. Because obviously, right, pretty much any heavyweight has the power to knock you out if they set up a good shot. Because, you know, they're just throwing around 240 plus pounds of body weight every time they throw a shot. So, you know, if you did size up Petr Yan to be a heavyweight, it's like, is he gonna end up moving like fucking Volkov? Is he like exactly how tall is he gonna be? How much is he gonna weigh? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of impossible. You can't really get a clean comparison there. But I guess 185 is a little easier, especially when you're trying to match him up against Khamzat, because Khamzat Chimaev isn't even that big of a 185er. The dude weighed in at 183. That's what Kevin Holland weighed in at fucking 185. So with that being said, I mean, Petr Yan actually might fuck him up then. Petr Yan might destroy him. Petr Yan might destroy him then. I mean, again, it is difficult because, again, it doesn't really matter to me who you match up Khamzat against. I still have the same questions about him. My question is, how does his output hold up over 5 rounds? You know, if somebody can actually constantly make him work and scramble, you know, I don't really care who you match up Khamzat against. That will be my question, unless it's a complete fucking like gimme fight, you know. I don't know. I mean, I think we're gonna. I hope we find out against fucking Sean Strickland. That would be nice to finally have an answer to this question, because again, I don't know what happens if somebody keeps turtling and keeps fighting to get back up, and Khamzat has to keep mat returning you. I don't know what that looks like rounds 3, 4, and 5. You know, I don't know, but it's a good question. If I had to take a wild guess, I would probably say Piotr's going to get that one done, though. So, Donlo, when do you think we should do the big reveal? When do you think we should do the big reveal? After? Okay. All right. All right. Oh, Donlo, did you finish the cinematic trailer that we're gonna show everybody? I mean, I'd hope so, because we're debuting it today. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but me and Donlo have been making something that's going to change the frontier of memberships on this channel. And Donlo made, we were talking about this. He made this entire 3D like cinematic trailer with like it's all animated and stuff, and it's gonna reveal what we were talking about today. What do you mean you didn't work on it, Donlo? What do I pay you for? Oh my god, I was so excited to show everybody, dude. That's so bad, man. God damn it, Donlo. You dropped the ball again. Guys, what do I do about Donlo? What do I do about Donlo? Because I think we need... I think that we need, you know, to set a precedent for what happens when you don't follow my orders. You fire him and hire me. All right, Red Rotten Man Guy person, just send me some of your work. Send me some of your work, and we can think about it. $8 now. That's a pretty steep cut based on how much he's been paid. That's like over a 40% decrease in his pay. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Colt Killer, thank you for the choice. Also, can you sing me happy birthday? Colt Killer, I would, but like $2.80 is a little light for me to straight up sing. You know what I mean? Like I hate to say it, man, but I just don't sell my body the same way that I used to, you know? It's not that I wouldn't love to do it. It's just again, I have to at the end of the night be able to look at myself in the mirror and be happy with what I see, you know. And there was a time in my life, especially when we first started streaming and I was desperate for donations, that like I would do some pretty crazy stuff for $2. And I had trouble respecting myself. You know? That's a fact. I went through that for sure. And I think that's something I'm trying to get through now. I'm trying to evolve from a little bit, you know? How much? Enough to make the donation icon green and not blue. Or whatever color Mr. Berg just sent. Thank you, Mr. Berg. I really appreciate it. Whatever you can do to make it that color, I guess that'll be enough. Sana Dude, thank you for the 6 months. Remember, sing happy birthday to Colt Killer. You're on the right track with that. We're almost there. We're working on it. We're almost getting to the amount of money I would need. We're getting close to that. Thank you. Thanks to that donation right there. I probably would have asked for more if it wasn't for Sana Dude right there. Mist Berg, thank you for the $5. Hey Shay. I'm just starting to train MMA, but there's no pure MMA gyms where I'm at. How should I schedule my training throughout the week? You know, Mr. Berg, in fairness, it's kind of rare in general to find a pure MMA gym. Like that's tough to find, you know? They don't exist many places. They do exist for sure, but there's not a lot of money in it. So they're not super plentiful. You know, because where gyms make the most money is generally with hobbyists who just want to learn probably one martial art, you know. So it's hard to find that like scattered throughout the world. Like you got to kind of go to hot spots to find like really good, like pure MMA gyms. But I mean, you know, listen, Mistberg, it really depends on your goals. It depends what you want to do, you know. If you want to be a professional fighter, I'd say about 8. You should be looking at about 8 sessions a week. 8 sessions a week is about the hot spot, about the sweet spot. If you want to be a pro, that's outside of camp. You do about 8 sessions. I think that's probably what you should be looking at. You know, fucking. And again, it just depends like what your skill set currently is. Like if you already have experience striking, well then you should be looking, I would say maybe 4 or 5 grappling sessions a week. If you're really you really don't have a certain skill, if you're really lacking one of the pillars of mixed martial arts, then I would say you might need like 5, 6 sessions a week of that, honestly. But it depends. If you're still like trying to pick up all of the skills together, you can mix it up. 3 striking, 3 grappling, a couple strength and conditioning sessions generally we should be looking at. But like a pro fighter generally does about 8 sessions a week. That's not that crazy. That's just you're going to train once a day. And, outside of like injury, but you can also mix it up. Like you can fucking, you can like, if you want to train, and obviously if you're doing 8 sessions a week though, obviously you're not going 100% every single day. That's not sustainable. You're going to have some lighter days, but you're practicing about 8 sessions a week. But again, it depends. If you just want to train for fun and learn the skills for fun, then, like 4 sessions a week that's all you really need, but it's a good question. Jack, thank you for 8 months. Remember, how much for a signed pair of gloves? Do you mean the signed Devin Haney glove that I have? Right here? Is that what you mean? Because this is really near and dear to my heart, man. Devin Haney is an absolute legend of the sport of boxing. I'm not gonna part with this for any, for any lowballed offer. Or do you mean like you want me to sign a pair of gloves? That's also a bit of a pain in the ass because then I gotta go fucking buy a pair of gloves and then I gotta FedEx it to you. But it just depends. No, just one signed by you. How much would I? I mean, we can set that up, but then I've gotta fucking go buy some gloves. Then I gotta sign it, and then I gotta FedEx it to you. That's a bit of a pain in the ass. But it's smart, man. That's smart, cause honest to God, man, that's gonna grow in value for sure. I'm international, by the way. Oh, fuck. MMA gloves or like a boxing glove? How much? 75's a lot. $75. That's a bit much. I want to invest. I mean, listen, Jack. I have a feeling I might CM Punk my way to the UFC one day. Now, the difference between me and CM Punk is that I would have fucked up CM Punk if you threw me in there with him. I would have fucking mauled him. That's the difference. It's a smart investment. I won't lie. Bedtime's got me jealous. I want to do an MMA. I want to do an MMA fight myself. Like, I'll have an MMA career, I think, for sure. Honestly, I don't know, man. Like 75 seems fair to me, but like I'd probably say 50 is probably a fair for me to actually make that happen. I'd say 50. Mr. Jacobs, what an ironic thing to say that you want a me versus a bedtime MMA fight. That's not really that's pretty ironic of you to request because that's just I hate to say it, man, but we're just different weight classes, man. We're different weight classes. I'm a much larger man than bedtime is. Mr. J. Christian Charles, I want Shade to breed a pair of gloves in auction? Shade to breed a pair of gloves in auction. What the fuck does that mean? What do you mean you want me to breed a pair of gloves in auction? That sounds fucking... I don't know what the fuck that means. See, that's where I'm at too, Spectonimus. That's why, again, I'm willing to do some charity here. But that's still a lot. No, me and Bedtime, we were supposed to fight. I've said this story about 1,000 times. We were supposed to fight on Karate Combat, but it just didn't end up happening. I agreed to all the terms. He was a little shaky on it, which I'm not, listen, I don't blame the guy for. He was a little shaky on it. He was a little like, ugh. He went how much? He kind of priced himself out, I think. Bedtime, he asked for too much money, I think. He John Jones'd it. Nah, I'm just kidding. Well, initially they reached out to me about the fight, and then I remember it was like October. It was like mid-October, and they were like, "Do you want to fight on December 19th or something?" And I said yes. And then they went, "Okay, great. Like we'll reach out to Bedtime." And they reached out to Bedtime, and then Bedtime was like, "You know what? I just got out of fight camp or something." And he's like, I would need just a couple more months. And then they're like, okay, well, we can probably do February then. And they asked me if February would be good. And then I was like, yeah, February's fine. So then they were like, okay, cool. Let us then get this December card handled. And then after that, we'll reach back out to you guys to see if we can reschedule that fight. And they just never reached back out to us. Funny enough, they did actually reach back out to me in between that time, asking me to fight some guy named My Mate Nate, who is some like fucking he's some Thai YouTuber. Now he's a white guy. But he speaks Thai. His channel's based in Thai. He's done a bunch of like influencer boxing fights, but he had never done any sort of kicking like before at all, like anything like that. And it was on 4 weeks notice. And I initially was like, I agreed to it, but I remember I asked him, I was like, so, but like, what's the pay gonna look like for this? Is it going to be the same as I was offered for the bedtime fight? And they just never responded to that question. I imagine they probably, the matchmaker's got to ask one party first. I'm sure he went to me first, then he went to My Mate Nate, and I bet you My Mate Nate turned it down. I would assume. Because why would he want to take that? That's a terrible fight. That's not a good idea. His channel was pretty big. He has like 15 million subscribers, So the difference is, though, man, is that like my entire audience cares about fighting. That's the difference. That's the value I bring. Or that's the value technically any like MMA channel would bring. Like I assure you a lot of My Mate Nate's fans don't actually really care about watching fights very much. But yeah, Mr. J Crispy, are we gonna watch that review bedtime fight? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, Mr. J Crispy. I would do it for like. I mean, listen, for the standard fee to watch something on stream's $10. If we really want to watch it, we can watch it. I can give my thoughts. I've only seen clips. Ugh. But also too, man, Bedtime's just such a good guy, man. Such a good guy. I really like him. Like I wouldn't really want to fucking fighting. I wouldn't want to fight him. That sounds kind of. I don't know. I don't want to do that. That's like asking if I want to fight Lucas Tracy. No, I don't want to fight Lucas Tracy anymore. Lucas Tracy's such a good guy. Well, I never really want. I mean, I knew I never actually would fight him, but you know what I mean. He's just both such good guys. All right. Are you guys ready to get started? Are you guys ready to get started? Nah, 5 more minutes. No, keep staring. No, not yet. All right, we won't start yet. Fine. Well, I don't know what you guys want to sit here and do then. Do we really? Where are they? LEC, where are they? Oh, Colt Killer, thank you for the $2.08. Who's my top 5 Jewish people? It's a good question. My top 5 Jewish people of all time. God, who are my top 5 Jewish? There's so many to pick for. God, okay, hold on. There's so many. I've got like 1,000 in my head right now. To sort through them is gonna be really, really tough. Okay, cool. Finally, I'm glad somebody made the trailers for that. My top 5 favorite Jewish people. God. Yeah, I don't know about Einstein. Einstein, I feel like was a little bit overrated. Mel Gibson, was Mel Gibson really Jewish? Epstein's got to be up there. Epstein's got to be up there. I feel like I've got to be up there too. I've got to be one of my most favorite Jewish people ever. Donald Trump he's definitely up there, man. He's definitely up there. He's up there, I think. Jesus, you can't really. Yeah, I think Jesus is up there for sure. It's got to be Jesus, right? I mean, Jesus might be. I mean, Jesus was a pretty freaking. He was an interesting guy, you know. Jesus was a cool guy. He accomplished a lot in his lifetime, you know. He's more or less probably the most famous person in the history of humanity, right? And he was a Jew. He was. That's a fact. He comes from Jewish descent. You know, the Last Supper or whatever was a Jewish whatchamacallit. That's a fact. He was doing the whatever you call it. You know, us Jews, we like our own, and Jesus is up there. I don't think Charles is Jewish. I think that outfit he was wearing was a little something different. Moloch, Moloch and Baal, the demons. Yeah, Passover. Thank you, Mr. J. Crispy. Yeah, finally a good fucking question from chat today. Jesus Christ. No offense, you guys have been a little awkward today. Yeah, those are my top 5 Jewish people, I think. All right, are you guys ready to get started? It's been 5 minutes. Are you guys ready to get started? I'm ready to get started. Man, chat does not want to get to this breakdown today. That's crazy. A lot of no's from chat today. No, I'm good. Damn. No. All right. Fuck. I mean, we don't have to. We don't have to. We don't have to. I do kind of feel like this is a great fight night, but I do kind of agree with you that sometimes it's better just to do other stuff. I'm right there with you guys a little bit on that one. Some yeses are coming in. Obviously, though, as we normally do things around here, if you do want to start the stream or if you want to start the breakdown, it is going to cost $5. That is just how it's always worked, and that's not my rule. That's actually LEC's rule. So yeah. That's a good point, Shagoki. The fights aren't going anywhere until Saturday. That's a good point. That's a really, really good point. The footage of Shavkat with his legs all mangled, yeah, he looks all skinny. It's kind of sad, man. It's kind of sad. I don't think he'll ever be back, which does suck to say. Do I take affirm payments? I mean, I guess, Mr. J. Crispy. I guess. Like if you want to do $1 now and then and you keep setting $1 throughout, the next 5 streams, that's fine, but I'm going to need some collateral out of you, Mr. J. Crispy, in case you can't pay. And Shavkat getting divorced is crazy because, dude, you understand, in Shavkat's culture, getting divorced is pretty bad. Oh, Meme Big 8, thank you for the $5, buddy. Start the breakdown. Also, when are you doing the stream me and Diego Lopez paid for? It's been 2 weeks. It has not been 2 weeks. It's been about 9 days. So the thing is, Meme Big 8, it's just every single day. Obviously we've just had stuff we've needed to do. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've had to do a shit ton of research on JD and Prates, but as soon as there's just a slight little opening in our schedule, we can get to it for sure, and we will get to it. Don't you even worry. I've already got it all planned out. It's going to be a great stream. Don't you even worry. All right, Meme Big 8 has started the stream. I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. All right. All right, guys. Let's get started. Cody Steele versus Dom Marfan. You guys know I'm a really big fan of Cody Steele. Cody Steele Very, very high-level grappler. Cody Steele, he's like a training partner of Andrew Tackett. I believe Cody Steele has placed at trials before. Cody Steele's a very strong wrestler. I mean, his jiu-jitsu game is, for MMA standards, pretty freaking world class. He's had matches with guys like Mika Gaivao. He did get destroyed by Mika Gaivao, don't get me wrong. The problem with Cody Steele is, dude, I thought he was so much younger than he really was. The dude's 31 years old, which is a little late to be only 7-1 in MMA and to have the skills that he has. Because the thing about Cody is that he just likes to bang with you in the pocket. That's pretty much his entire game, it seems like. Like, he didn't really shoot a takedown against Rong Zhao or whatever his name is, that Asian guy he fought. He did, from my recollection, he made a couple of attempts. But, like, he just wanted to throw with him in the pocket. And he's very open with his striking. He's not super clean. He doesn't have the best footwork. He's very open. He's not strong defensively at all. And it's tough because, again, he's a strong wrestler, world-class grappling. But the problem is that if you have an inability to set up your takedowns, obviously it doesn't really matter. You got to be able to use your striking to actually get in on takedowns. Now, in fairness to Cody Steele, I literally don't know the first thing about Dom Marfan. Like, I straight up don't know this guy. I've never heard of him. I know nothing about him, but Cody's apparently a minus 200. That is theoretically a big deal for him, I guess. But, I think Cody's a little old to actually be able to develop into, like, a legit world-class MMA fighter. Like, at least Bo Nickel, Bo's like 28, or he's 29, That's a bit younger. It's still a little old, but it's a bit younger. I don't know, man. Cody Steele probably doesn't stand much of a chance in his UFC career outside of maybe winning this fight. Now you guys probably don't know this, but Themba Gorimbo, dude, I've been on the Themba Gorimbo hype train for a long time. A long time, man. I've always been a big fan of Themba. My number one thing about Themba, I think, is his complexion. Yeah, that's all I got for that one. I don't know who these guys are. Colby Thickness, I actually know pretty well. I know pretty well. Vince Morales, I think I also know pretty well, but that is also more or less the extent to this fight right here. But moving on to a fight that I do know a lot about, Jacob Malkan versus Gerald Meerschaert. Dude, Gerald Meerschaert, straight up, man, honestly, I know he gets memed on a lot, but Gerald Meerschaert has some absolute insane accolades to his name. He was the one guy Khamzat could not take down. Khamzat never got close to a takedown against Gerald. Not once. Not once. Now, in fairness to Gerald, I think the reason why Khamzat fucking did not get close to a takedown is because Gerald's grappling is actually very good. He's a very good grappler. He did get absolutely bitched when he had a grappling match with Craig Jones over at Polaris or whatever. Craig just fucking... Man, what the fuck did Craig do? Craig was like threatening takedowns. He was able to jump to the back, strangle him in like a minute. But, that makes sense because it is Craig Jones after all. But, with that being said, I think Gerald has some legit grappling ability. Now, Jacob Malkan more or less is a grappler. But he's also Australian. And I'm noticing a very strange pattern here. Why is everybody fucking Australian on this goddamn card on this side? Except for there still is an Australian over here. New Zealand, Australia. That is crazy. But yeah, Jacob Malkan, his grappling game, I mean, he's very wrestling heavy. He's very push up against the fence kind of grappling style, but his striking is also not too bad. Minus 1,100 to plus 700 is a little crazy. Yeah, that's what I got for this one as well. Junior Tafa is a straight up like embarrassment to the UFC. It's cool that he's dropped down to light heavyweight, but I'll be honest with you, man. If you are losing at heavyweight, dropping down to light heavyweight, I feel like is just generally not a great idea. Because here's the thing, we all know that lighter man skill doesn't really exist. It exists, but it doesn't exist in the way that people like to say it does. Like, I don't think there's a massive difference in between a single weight class, you know. But I think there is a pretty big difference between heavyweight and light heavyweight. That there absolutely is. Not at the very tip top of the sport. You know, like all the best heavyweights in the world are very skilled. But, you know, if you're like a mid-ranked heavyweight and you're losing and you go, all right, I'm going to go down to light heavyweight to revitalize my career. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Because a mid-tier heavyweight is dog shit. A mid-tier light heavyweight is pretty world class, you know? But, you know, that's sort of my thoughts on this matchup, at least. Kevin Christian, I'll tell you what, he's the most Indian-looking Brazilian I've ever seen in my life, right? Like, this guy looks so fucking Indian. He doesn't look Brazilian at all to me. I don't know what it is, because I have a lot of experience with Brazilians, and I have a lot of experience. I don't have as much experience with Indians, but I have some experience with them, and I'm usually pretty good at telling them apart. In this instance, he looks very Indian. Am I wrong to say that, you guys? I'm going to assume I'm right in saying that. All right, moving on. Cam Rouston versus Robert Bryzek. Robert Bryzek, he comes from Poland. Obviously, Cam Rouston, of course, comes from Australia. Robert Bryzek, both guys are middleweights. Robert Bryzek, he is white. Decent chest genetics on Robert Bryzek. Very, very decent chest genetics. He is going to be the underdog in this fight by plus 150. All right. Finally, I have fully researched every single fight on the main card. Don't even worry, guys. I have fully researched all of these. So, Tai Tuivasa versus Louis Sutherland. Louis Sutherland, I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. He is fucking fat. He is so fucking obese. Look at this. Look at this, man. That's crazy. This is crazy. This is the worst tattoo I've ever seen. He's like the fat is folding in on itself, and his arms aren't even that big. Tai Tuivasa is like legitimately on like a Tony Ferguson-esque losing streak. He's lost like 6 fights in a row, which is crazy because Tai used to be considered a top contender. Louis Sutherland, I'll tell you what, for how fat he is, he's actually kind of quick. He is a little quick. He moves kind of fast. Like, he moves faster than you would think. And the best analogy I have for this is, as you guys know, I used to have a tortoise. Her legal name was Ivysaur, but I called her Torty. And she ran away, as you guys know. And a lot of people wonder how the fuck a tortoise ran away, how I lost a tortoise. Dude, in short bursts, she could haul ass, like straight up. In short bursts, she could move. Again, she couldn't keep it up, but she could run. She could run. Louis Sutherland's kind of similar to that. Louis Sutherland has a very wild pace. He goes after you. He's got a crazy quick pace at the very start. He slows down. But Tai Tuivasa should be a step ahead of him more or less everywhere. Pretty much when I went to research this fight, the only thing that I did was I was like, does Louis Sutherland literally have any grappling ability? Can he literally at all? Dude, the truth is he kind of does. The truth is Louis can grapple. He can shoot takedowns. Tai Tuivasa's not completely lost when it comes to takedown defense, but he is lost when you put him flat on his back. I did not have a girthy tortoise. She was not that big. She's like the size of my hand. But, with that being said, Tai Tuivasa's pure boxing ability is bad, but for the heavyweight division, it's good. The heavyweight division is not that bad, right? Like, he can crack. He's got decently fast hands. Louis not that slow himself, but, like, in terms of durability, in terms of striking skill, you gotta go Tai Tuivasa on this one. And I feel like the odds are only close because Tai Tuivasa has lost 8 fights in a row, which I think is fair. I think it's fair because Tai, he doesn't put a lot of effort into his career. He's fat as fuck. I think, like, between him and Kelvin Gastelum, I think both of those guys are probably at the top of the heap when it comes to not caring about your body. But I think Tai Tuivasa really blows him out of the water. Like, you look at Tai Tuivasa outside of fight camp, and it's kind of gross. Like, it's bad, man. Like, it's bad. It's bad. Like, Tai Tuivasa, he has reached levels of unhealthy girth that I didn't know existed. Though, again, Louis Sutherland is not great. Like, I wonder if I went to Louis Sutherland right now and asked him, like, what are your dreams in the UFC? I just can't imagine he tells me to be UFC champion. Like, how can you how can you think that? How? You're so fat. Look at your fucking breasts. Look at them. Like, everybody look at this and just see what you see here. Right? It's so fucking bad. But again, he's a little quick for how fat he is. He's just like my old tortoise. So I think that he's not a complete lost cause here. But if Tai Tuivasa doesn't knock him out, fuck. I don't know, man. I don't know. But speaking of, guys, I have 2 things to say about this matchup. I've got a lot more to say, but I've got 2 main things to say about Shamil Gaziov versus Brando Persisic. Brando Persisic is legitimately fucking good, guys. He's fucking good. Brando Persisic is like, I think he might be the future of heavyweight. Second and foremost, and I know this might sound silly, but I subconsciously didn't think Shamil Gaziov had any skills at all. And I don't know why I thought that. Like, obviously, if I had sat down and really thought about that, I'd say, well, that doesn't make any sense. He's in the UFC. He's won fights. He has to have skills. I didn't think he had it. I literally was, like, shocked when I went back and watched some Shamil fights. And I'm like, Shamil, like, actually does, like, you can tell he trains. You can tell he actually has a semblance of how to fight. Shamil, he's very boxing heavy. He actually has some head movement. I was surprised. He's slipping under shots. He's got a good jab, a good 1-2. When I say he's got a good jab and a good 1-2, you have to understand, I say that in the sense of, like, he is very fat and out of shape. Shamil is like, he's like Snorlax a little bit in terms of his movement. But you'd be surprised with how slow he is, that he can actually, like, throw jabs. He can slip shots. He can crack you. You know what I mean? But again, he's very arm punchy because he doesn't move that well. Like, Shamil has so much mass that when he throws a right hand, it's not boom. He's not getting his body behind it. He's not turning the hip over. When he jabs, he's not extending out the shoulder. It's very, like, because he can't move his body very well. And that's a straight up fact. You watch him fight, and that's the first thing you're going to see. But Brando Persisic, he is legitimately, dude, he's fucking good. I was really surprised. He's only had a couple of fights in the UFC, but Brando, he trains with that Eugene Behrman. He has good kicks. He's quick. His footwork is pretty good. He's well-rounded. He's got good takedowns, got good knees in the clinch. He's way more mobile than Shamil, but his kicking game is what kind of surprised me. He's like a legit, like, kickboxer. Now, I don't know if he comes from a kickboxing background per se, but I was actually very surprised looking at Pacific. I think he should win this fight. I think the one thing about him, though, is, let me see, I believe he's only about 240. Let me see. Brando Pacific. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. No, he's about 264. He's about 264. Fair enough. But the thing is, dude, Shamil, he's big, dude. Shamil's big. Shamil gets up to 300 pounds. Like, I think if Shamil got shredded and he got into really good shape, he'd be about 250, you know? But, he's very out of shape. But Brando should, I think, crush him. I really, really do. I think he's next up at heavyweight. I was really surprised by his skill level. And I believe he's not that old, right? How old is he? $31. That's very young for heavyweight. That's very, very young for heavyweight. Yeah, maybe grappling might be the way Shamil takes this one, but I think Brando's next up for sure. Next, Marquand Rahiki versus Ollie Schmid. What the actual fuck is this fight doing on the main card? And I'm legitimately asking you guys. What is this fight doing on the main card? Who are these people? This guy doesn't have a fucking photo yet. He's 4-2-0. This guy's like debuting. What about this guy? 8-0, and he's fighting a guy debuting. Was this like short notice or something? It was supposed to be Jack Jenkins. Oh, okay, that actually makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense then. Okay, fair enough. Because I would have said, like, I think Junior Tafa could have been on here instead of them. I don't know why the UFC likes putting the Tafas on the main cards, but whatever. Okay. Tim Elliot, Steve Erceg. It kind of hurts that Tim Elliot is ranked number 11 and Erceg is ranked number 12. That's fucking nuts because Tim Elliot, again, it is crazy. He is making Mighty Mouse's resume age slightly better than it should be. But, like, Tim Elliott's had a couple of very favorable recent fights. Obviously, let's take a look at his record real quick. Because I know the Kai Asakura fight happened, and another one after that happened, right, where he won 2 submissions. Yeah. So it was Kai Asakura was his last fight. Kai Asakura is just, like, a straight-up fraud. Kai Asakura is probably, like, the fact that he got a title shot against Pantoja is lunacy. Kai Asakura, I don't think I've ever, like, seen somebody more disappointing in the UFC than Kai Asakura was. And I think it just speaks to the skill level in Ryzen overall. Very, very low level there, which makes sense because his submission defense is so bad. And that is sort of Tim Elliott's one kind of saving grace is that he does have good submission ability. I mean, he really does. The thing is, though, guys, you got to understand, Steve Erceg is fucking elite. I think a lot of people are expecting me to give up on this pipe dream, but dude, the Steve Erceg era, I still think has a chance to become a reality. And I think the reason why it still has a chance to become a reality is because Steve Erceg happens to match up extremely well to Alexandre Pantoja, and that's a fact. He does. Steve Erceg's striking game is very, very good. Steve Erceg's grappling game, very, 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 very good. And that's the thing. Like Steve Erceg, people forget, man, he was a grappler before he was considered a boxer in the UFC. And Tim Elliott, he's going to be bigger than Tim Elliott. I think he's a better grappler. Now, Steve does have some holes in his game when it comes to spamming overhands at him. That's a problem. Steve kind of has tall man syndrome when it comes to striking. His head movement's not that good. He kind of keeps his head up in the air because, again, if you're a real tall, rangy guy, You know what I mean? You know, you're not going to be fucking, you know, this sort of movement, this sort of, you know, you don't really develop that if your entire game is just, you know, stand tall and pop the jab. So when guys start ducking underneath with overhands, he struggles because he keeps his head up in the air, and that's how he gets caught. You know, but he's a good matchup for Pantoja. Now, again, as long as he can get a fight against Pantoja while Pantoja's champion, that's our one hope of the Steve Erceg era happening. Now, you know, obviously eras do come to an end. It probably will come to an end the next time he fights somebody who can take advantage of ripping overhands at him. But apart from that, he can beat Pantoja. I think he did beat Pantoja the last time they fought. I think it was a close-ish fight, but I think like if you think otherwise, it's very poor from you, you know. So, you know, I think that Steve Erceg should crush Tim Elliot every which way. He should be a huge favorite over Tim. Like, I don't think these odds are that fair, but I think that these odds should be flip-flopped. That's what I would say. That's what I would say is fair here. Because, again, I just think the thing that Tim Elliot does well, Steve Erceg does better with. You know, I think he's girthier. I think his striking game is better. You know, Tim's fucking old as shit. How old is Tim? He's old. He's old, man. He's old. He's very, very old. But now, moving on to the co-main event here, Beniel Dariush versus Quillian Salkid. You know, I think the odds here are super fucking lopsided, and I don't think it really deserves to be. I think that Quillian Salkid, there's this funny little thing about Quillian Salkid, man, and I think that it is true with most Australians in the UFC these days, or most just Australian fighters in general, is they all have such solid fundamentals. That's just what it comes down to. Like, Quillian isn't the most impressive athlete I've ever seen. But what Quillian has is he's just fucking solid every which way. Super, super solid. His boxing's clean. His strikes are very, very tight. His grappling is very good. He's fairly defensively sound. You know, he moves his feet well. When he throws the jab, he's not just standing there right in front of you after. He pops the jab and moves. He's cutting angle. You know what I mean? Like, he's pretty good. He hasn't really fought anybody that high level yet in the UFC. I mean, Nasrat Hapquast or whatever is I guess the best guy he's ever fought, and he did knock him out with a head kick. Here's the thing, though. Beniel Dariush, listen, as we know, for whatever crazy reason way back in the day, Beniel Dariush just had this ability when I was watching him, at least. He just had this ability to make me just like skip over the horrible aspects of his game. You know, for some bizarre reason, I'd watch Beniel Dariush and I just wouldn't realize how god awful he is defensively on the feet. Like, this guy is so fucking open to getting cracked. It's ridiculous. Like, he's so bad. And that's why he's been knocked out a shit ton of times. But Quillian Salkid, every single fight he's ever had, except for the fight against Anshul Jubilee or whatever, he tries to take him down. And the only reason I don't think he tried to take down Anshul is because he knocked him out so quickly. But Quillian loves to push the grappling, and he's a very good grappler, I think. He's very, very solid. But he's got good takedowns, decent submission game, though his takedown defense I do think is a little in question. Every time he's been taken out of the UFC, he pops right back up. But again, this is against pretty low-level competition. But I think in general, it's a little tough to say because Quillian's grappling has looked really good against not the super highest level opposition at all. But Beniel Dariush is listen, for all we know, maybe Quillian really is that good on the ground. But you just don't know for certain because the level of opposition has been pretty subpar. Whereas Beniel Dariush, compared to his last opponents, is just a fucking different level. It's a completely different level. I'm not a huge fan of Quillian. Again, he always looks to grapple in every single fight. He's always trying to set up takedowns. Against Nasrat, he couldn't really get in on takedowns. You know? Jamie Malarkey even took down Quillian at one point, and he got right back up, but still, You know, I don't know. But I think it's a mistake to try to grapple Beniel Dariush. I think Beniel's a very different level grappler than anybody else Quillian's ever fought. We're on that same front, though. I think on the feet, it should be a huge advantage for Quillian. I mean, you know, his boxing is super, super tight. He can put combinations together pretty well. Beniel is just so bad on the feet. He's so fucking bad. He's so bad. But again, that's why I'm not a huge fan of these odds. I'm not a huge fan of these odds, man. I wish that if I knew for a fact that Quillian's going to come in here and just look to box and strike, I think he crushes Beniel. I think he knocks him out. I really, really do. But you know, I don't know. I don't know, man. For those reasons, I'm not a huge fan of these odds. FPJR 20. I think it was 6 months of being a member. I love how the thumbnail is the first 2 of 3 fighter pairs, and then the last pair makes it seem like Steve Erceg is fighting Shamil Gaziov. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't about to put Tim Elliot on the fucking parlay. I mean, on the thumbnail. You know what I mean? Like, fuck no. What happened? Oh, okay. That was just me. My secondary monitor froze. Let me wait for chat to relog. There we go. There we go. We're back. Let me see. I mean, I mean, look, there's more to it than just this. But this is kind of where I have the lag. Man, people sure dip out of here quick. Are we back? Are we good? Are we back? Hello? We're back. Okay. Cool. Cool. We're back. We're good. Hello, hello. Okay, we're not muted. Good, because I can't trust you guys. All right, we're back. Cool. Anyway, I don't know when I paused there, but yeah, basically, man, this matchup has me feeling all sorts of ways. You know, I feel like, and you guys were there with us when we were doing all the film study the past couple of streams. I feel like this fight has engulfed who I am almost. I am so deep into the weeds of this fight and this matchup that I straight up don't know where the exit is. I'm lost. I don't know. This has been one of the most 50-50 fights I think I've ever seen. But with that being said, I think I found something that is going to slightly edge this fight one way or the other. I've done it. I think I've done it. I really do think I've done it. Again, it's a scary one. I think both guys have huge advantages that they can take over. I think they can use against each other. And I think that I've compiled exactly what those are right here. I want you guys to look at this right here. Chat, tell me, what do you see right here? What do you see? I'm telling you, this is what this entire fight comes down to right here. What do you guys see? What do you guys see? What do you guys see? The answer is this is Jack Della Maddalena fighting Carlos Prates. That's what this is. That's what this is. So I want you guys to look at what fucking Randy Brown does here. I want to show you guys what he does. Look. So Jack is pressuring him back to the fence. Randy's moving away. Look at this. Head movement, big head movement off to the side. He doesn't exit out of range well. He stays right in the pocket, gets cracked right on the chin because he looked to move his head and he didn't exit out of range. And then look what happens. He gets knocked out. He gets hurt and he gets finished right there. Now I want you to look at this sequence right here. Against Geoff Neal. Oh, I wish I muted it. It's a very similar thing. Geoff pressures him to the fence. Look, he dips his head to the side just like Randy Brown did. But he doesn't exit out of range well. And look what happens. Boom, he gets cracked right there. Same thing. Same thing. It's literally the same sequence. I mean, here's the thing though, right? I don't know how much I can really trust Jack to knock out Prates. That I don't know. And also, this is also very, very scary. Because again, right, the number one thing about Carlos Prates is in general, if you pressure him with punches or you pressure him with any kind of strikes, Prates does not he has no counter ability. I mean, he just doesn't have that, right? He's going to cover up and back up, right? But you look at this sequence right here, right? That's exactly what happens. So right here, Geoff feints. He feints to see what Prates' reaction is going to be. Once he sees that Prates' reaction is to cover up, Geoff believes it is safe to fully close the distance and to fully just attack him with strikes because he has very little counter ability. But look what happens. He just makes him run into the knee to the body because Prates has amazing knees. Fucking hell, nobody, my mic is working. You guys got to refresh. No wonder everyone's fucking leaving. Fucking morons. Not you guys, but some people. Jesus Christ. Just cracks him right there, man. And obviously, this is the sequence that knocked Geoff Neal out. Well, the spinning knee is what knocked him out. But fucking Prates, he landed this exact combination like 5 times on Geoff Neal in this fight. Ends up hurting him really bad with it. And the truth is, for somebody like Jack Della, who needs to constantly get on the inside, I'm not 100% certain how he deals with that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not. I just got to be honest with you. One thing though that I do like about Jack a lot that we did see in the Randy Brown fight and we saw in the Kevin Holland fight is that Jack's guard is very good. It is. Like Jack's high guard is pretty fucking elite. Anytime Randy is a little quicker than Prates, Randy, mixes it up a little bit better. Prates is more or less looking for like more singular big shots. But, every single time Randy went to throw something, JDM block. It was very hard for him to actually get in and land clean strikes. It was. And obviously, Jack is going to be so much more technical and close with the boxing. So much more. But can we trust Jack to Can we trust him to knock out Carlos? I don't know if we can. Can we trust Jack if he can't knock out Carlos to survive shots like this all 5 rounds? I mean, remember, Geoff is 200 pounds in this fight. Remember that. I don't know. I mean, given the fact that while I was breaking all this down, we dropped to 160 viewers because the fucking volume wasn't working, I'm just going to go through this real quickly again because I think this is just fucking that important. This is truly what I think this whole matchup comes down to. I want you guys to look at this sequence. This is Randy Brown. Many would say Randy Brown is the elite of the elite of the elite when it comes to ability. I would never say that. I would say Randy Brown he's a good striker, but he's definitely not elite. But it doesn't fucking matter, because look what happens. JDM starts pressuring him to the fence. As soon as he's backed up to the fence, he looks for a big action of head movement. I meant to pause there. He looks for one big action of head movement, but he doesn't exit out of range with it. And this right here is a big problem for guys whose striking style isn't super polished with boxing. They kind of just use head movement in sort of like a freestyle-esque way, which, by the way, spoiler alert, is exactly how Carlos Prates used it against Geoff Neal. But again, right, you've got Randy Brown trying to move his head, trying to be evasive, but he's not being really clean and technical with it. He's kind of just trying to move and stay away. He has this huge action of head movement, but he doesn't exit out of range well. There's two things you need to do here off slipping a punch like this. One, either fully close the distance, or two, just back the fuck away and get way far away from him. He doesn't do it. He moves his head in this big action, and then, boom, gets cracked with a shot right on the chin. He ends up getting finished. I mean, dude, literally, look at this sequence. Look at this sequence right here. I think I skipped a little too far. Again, the thing about Carlos Prates is Carlos Prates has very little counter ability on the back foot. So, Geoff right here, he moves in with strikes. Prates backs up, does the same fucking thing, you guys. Big action of head movement right here. Really big head movement action. He doesn't exit out of range. He does the literal exact same thing that fucking Randy Brown does, and gets cracked right here on the exit. Now, I think that Jack is more accurate than Geoff. I think Geoff has more horsepower. I think that Jack has better ability to set up strikes. I think he's more accurate. So I think he does have more KO ability. Even though Geoff will probably generate more power on the fucking, if he's hitting the power cube, he's probably going to get a bigger number. I think Jack has higher knockout ability. He's more accurate. And I think this is a problem. And a sequences like this played out through this fight. Because again, you can tell that Prates is trying to abandon his pure Muay Thai style because it failed him so bad against Ian Gary. He needs more movement. He needs more footwork. And listen, there were some moments that his footwork and his head movement looked good. There were. But sequences like this is how you can tell that someone doesn't have super polished boxing skills. They're kind of just freestyling. They're kind of just freestyling the head movement. Right here, you either need to fully close the distance or fully exit. Now, he couldn't fully close the distance because Geoff has a strong frame right here. But, by the way, notice the difference between this sequence right here and the sequence of Jack is, look, Jack, it's honestly very similar. The difference is, though, is that Jack catches him, and this is what I'm talking about when we're bringing up knockout ability. Jack catches him while he's moving into it. That is why this shot knocked him out. Look. He literally was moving into the shot. As he's sliding this way, Jack's lead hook ran into it right there. But Geoff didn't have the same knockout ability because Prates does pretty much the exact same thing. Big action of head movement. But instead of as Prates circles out this way, he catches him with this lead hook and makes him run into it. He lands this shot right here. Still cracks him right on the chin, but it's not as clean of a KO shot. He didn't make Prates run into it. I'm telling you, that's going to be a fucking serious problem for Jack, who's going to be looking to close the distance with Prates, who's going to be looking to back him up to the fence. When Prates starts doing this like freestyle head movement and he slips out of range, he's going to be open. Because he did this exact sequence played out a few times throughout this fight. But again, with all this being said, this is why this matchup for me is so hard, because of this sequence right here, man. Right here. This I don't like, man. This I really don't like. So look, again, as we know, right, in general, Prates doesn't have much counter ability. So Geoff feints right here. He pops this shoulder forward, feints here to see what Prates' reaction is going to be. Prates starts covering up and backing up. Now, if you had done any film study on Carlos Prates, you would know he doesn't land counter shots. If you move forward with punches against him, he covers up, backs up, and he just lets you throw at him, right? So Joff takes this opportunity to go, I can close the distance with him. I can throw strikes. And look at what Prates does. Makes him run into the knee to the body. This gets Joff to drop his hands. But little does Joff know, this right hand is right behind it, cracks him clean, fucking whips his head. And by the way, this exact combination is what ends up hurting Joff before the knockout. He threw this like 3-4 times. And he really hurt Joff at the end of the fight. We all learned this doing film study yesterday. I don't have a solid way to tell Jack to avoid something like that. Because again, Jack has that high guard. I really like Jack's high guard. You look at the Kevin Holland fight. You look at the Randy Brown fight. Almost every single strike they threw, Jack was constantly blocking it really well. He's moving well. He's blocking it well. It's hard to get those shots to land clean through the guard. Kevin Holland had one moment of landing a straight right hand through the guard that was clean. But apart from that, his guard looked really good. But again, he needs to constantly close the distance. He needs to get into the pocket. In the pocket, it's not close. Look at Carlos Prates' boxing ability. Look at JDM's boxing ability. It ain't close. He's way better in the pocket. But what does he do when Prates, again, covers up? Jack takes that opportunity to close the distance and start throwing, and then he just goes knee, right hand behind it. Carlos's knees to the body are a fucking problem. And it's this right here is tough. I don't have a solid way to tell Jack to fix that. Oh, it's okay. You got to do this to stop. It's like, no, Jack, you got to close the distance. I kind of tinkered with this idea because, frankly, right, in my head prior to this fight, I was saying that it's the one thing that Jack needs to avoid is fighting at range with Prates. That was the number one thing I was saying. But when I see a combination like this, right, and then I saw how well Jack was blocking and moving away from every single head strike, I kind of started wondering, fuck, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for Jack to strike at range with him a little bit more. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe wait for the moments that, like, again, Jack's at range, he's blocking. Find the moments where Jack could actually land a shot. I'm sure if he lands a shot on Prates, then it becomes about 1,000 times safer to fully close the distance with him. Whereas the difference is with this sequence, right, is that Joff didn't land a strike, right? He feinted, getting Prates to cover up. He thought it was safe to close the distance, but Prates is just waiting to catch him with this. Maybe if Jack at range can keep up the guard very well, tight, land a shot, that's your opportunity to close the distance. And then hope a sequence like exactly what happens here opens up. Because it's literally exactly what fucking Carlos Prates does right here, man. It's the same sequence to why he gets cracked right here. It's the same thing. So, listen. Based on what we've seen right there, I think I'm going 51% to JDM. No, you know what? I'm upping the stakes. I'm going 52% Jack Della's winning, 48% Carlos Prates is winning. That's what I think. I'm going with that. I'm going with that, man. I'm going with that. I see it a little bit. I see it. Again, I don't know how well prepared Jack's going to be. I wish I could talk to him. I wish I could sit Jack down and we can go over this together and I can work it out with him what our game plan's going to be for those sequences. But, yeah. You know? Mike Bergen, thank you for the 27 sec. I've lost $2,000 on gambling. Should I off myself? Speaking of gambling, let's get this parlay built. Listen, here's the thing, Mike Bergen, you gotta understand, man. Yes, you can lose 100% of your money gambling. But dude, you can increase your bank account 1,000-fold through gambling as well. There will always, always, always be a higher potential for money growth than there is a potential of money loss. That is an absolute fucking fact. Do not forget it. And don't let the normies sit here and try to tell you that you should quit. Like, literally, what if Jesus just quit? What if he just quit? Right? What if Stephen Hawking just quit? What if he was just like, I'm done? Then what? I think those are the two best examples, Jesus and Stephen Hawking, because they both have a Venn diagram of things that they're similar about, you know? For one, Stephen Hawking was on Epstein's Island, and I think he probably fucked some little kids, I imagine. Jesus never did that. I am Jewish. Jesus is also Jewish. You know that, right? Jesus Christ is Jewish. That's like a literal fact. But again, right? That's what you have to understand about gambling. Here's the thing. You gotta understand, there's a difference between gambling addiction and being a hard gambler. The difference between the two is this. Somebody who's addicted to gambling, if their wife came to them and said, if you don't stop gambling right now, I'm going to divorce you. And then, you know, that same wife, let's just say it's a polyamorous relationship. That same wife walks up to her second hard gambling husband and gives him the same proposition. Get up from the gambling table right now, or I'm divorcing you. Only one of them are going back. Only one of them have stopped. The gambling addict is not leaving that table, and he's going to ruin his life over it. The hard gambler goes, okay, and just gets up and goes to his wife. That's the difference between the two. And that's where you have to draw the line between where you lie on that spectrum. Again, where I'm at with it is this. Yes, I can lose everything gambling, but you can actually tenfold your money through gambling, you know? Okay, Aaron, Jesus, that's some fine print for you, isn't it? Huh? That's some fine print. Beside the point. It's completely beside the point. Way too smoking. They need to draw his Prates, his teeps at range will be a problem too. They absolutely will. I mean, you know, though, I don't recall Prates throwing a shit ton of teeps, but Randy Brown has good teeps. And that was the one strike Brown was actually landing cleanly. He kept like digging it right through the elbows. Again, Jack's high guard for the boxing was elite, but the teeps were landing. For sure. I in general would say for Prates, you got to really be kicking heavy. The calf kicks too. You know what? Never mind. I'm sorry. We're back at 51.49. Because the leg kicks, Prates does have good leg kicks. He's got very good leg kicks. Jack was incapable of preventing leg kicks against Islam Makhachev, which is crazy because he was actually checking some leg kicks pretty well against Kevin Holland. But that's a huge problem that Jack's going to have. That's a huge issue. So, yeah. Okay, maybe we're not 52-48. Maybe I'm 51-49. Jack has to do well defending kicks. Oh, thank you for 6 months to be a member. Way too smoky. Sean Strickland said he trained with the Russian plus Dagestani Sambo fighters, judo guys, and wrestler. Trained single and double leg takedowns specifically. Defense or offense? And you're talking about just in general he did this, or he's doing it for a fight against Hamzat? I mean, listen, that's all fine and dandy. Again, though, I don't really care. You know, listen, Strickland's never going to be as good of a wrestler as Hamzat is. That's just not going to happen. But again, it really just all depends on whether or not, you know, I think Strickland is going to be able to make him work a lot more than DDP did, I think. And And I'm very curious to see what happens rounds 3, 4, and 5 if he can keep getting up and keep making Khamzat work. That's what I'm personally curious about. And I guess, to work on double single leg defense, that's important, especially, if Khamzat starts getting a little tired and his shots aren't as strong as the fight goes on, that's going to be very important. If only Strickland just had a little bit more finishing ability. Because now, like, if Khamzat can just fucking keep up a strong wrestling pace for 3 rounds, now it's like, well, Strickland, you need to either 10-8 one of these rounds or you need to finish him, I don't know. It's probably pretty reasonable to say Strickland won't get finished, I imagine. That is another thing people are bringing up, whether or not, or wait, what? Maybe I misread it, what you're saying. Oh, yeah, JDM is orthodox. True, but the thing is, though, the one thing you're going to see from Prates is, especially in that last fight against Joff, you should have been there yesterday when we were watching film on this, is that Prates, his ability to constantly, like, his head movement and his slipping, and he moves certain ways that he can set up kicks off his lead leg very well. It's a little bit harder to set up kicks off your lead leg when you're very square, but if you're going to be shifting and moving and circling this way, you can kind of roll your shoulder over to land kicks, you know what I mean? Better, at least. Way too long to leave the draw. Volk hinted JDM had a calf injury into the Islam fight. Okay, he had a calf injury. Listen, injuries are serious. So the calf injury was why he was defending his calf from being kicked so bad. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. When he hit that judo throw on Islam, and then instead of like fighting in that 50-50 position, he tried to jump over for the armbar. That was because of a calf injury. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think here exactly what the issue was. Jack did traditionally fight more switch stance. But against Islam, he didn't really. But there wasn't a lot of opportunity to fight switch stance because he fucking, he was off his back for so much of that fight. I don't know, man. Maybe. I guess. I don't know. Listen, it is a little weird. When I was watching the Kevin Holland fight, I was kind of taken aback by how well Jack was checking leg kicks, in fairness. I was like, damn, that's a good check. That was a really good check. He checked that leg kick really well. And you look at the Islam fight, he had fucking no ability to stop a goddamn leg kick. And that was huge because his movement was so compromised, he was just a sitting duck for every single takedown attempt. I don't know. Okay, sure. I guess that does make it a little interesting. The problem is, though, man, what on earth would Jack have to do to earn a rematch with Islam? Like, that's quite a tall order right there. Right? Mr. Lee's over 3 remember, can't believe people think Carlos is going to slime JDM out easily. Recency bias is insane. Well, it depends on what you define as easily. Because I generally wholeheartedly think that he can knock him out with this right here. Like, I think that's going to be so hard for Jack to stop, this exact combination. As Jack pressures, throw the knee to the body, right hand behind it. He really hurt Joff with this like 3 times. That's going to be tough for him to stop. But I do agree with you in terms of just like clean striking exchanges out in the open. I think Jack's going to be hard to finish. I do. I was really, and it kind of made me realize a little bit how, I knew this, but it made me like consciously think about it, Jack's high guard is really fucking good at stopping punches. But the high guard completely failed him against Islam because Islam just didn't box at all. Like, Jack's high guard is built for pure boxing defense. In an MMA context, of course. Islam didn't try to box with him at all, so it only ended up being a horrible detriment to him because it was just all kicks and all takedowns, you know? Which that's a problem. That's a problem. But against Prates, who's a striker, at range, I kind of like JDM's guard. I think it's going to be hard for Prates to land clean shots against him outside of setting it up really well with, you know, examples we've looked at, you know? Just if they're out in range and Prates starts throwing punches, I think Jack's going to be hard to crack cleanly. I really, really do. Wait, $20 explains why JDM was so stationary as well. Where did Volk hint at this? Like, what does that mean? Like, where was that at, Way Too Smoky? May I ask? Because that does sound interesting. All right. Well, I mean, let's see what we got here. I'd love to know what video. But let me see what we got here. Okay. I can't believe I'm saying this. Brando Pacific. I'm gonna risk on the parlay here. I really like Brando Persic. I don't know how you pronounce the C's in his fucking language. I'm gonna say Persic. He's going on the parlay at a -138. Man, I trust him. Now, this might come back to bite me, but I watched a few fights. I was very impressed. I'm going him. I'm going Steve Erceg. And you know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe we'll just keep it at that. Maybe we'll just keep it at that, and I'll bet like something light. I'll bet like $250 to win $377. Perchich. It's pronounced Perkek. See, you guys can't give me a fucking straight answer. Maybe this. I'm way too scared to bet on Beniel versus Quillian, only because, again, I'm afraid. I think Quillian has such a huge advantage on the feet, but fucking... he grapples in every single fight. Quillian always looks to grapple, and I just don't think that's a good idea against Beniel. I think Beniel's a different level than any other person he's grappled with. Yeah, but what if JDM just boxes his face off? What if that happens? That can happen. Jack is going to be such a better boxer in close. What if Jack just peppermint punches his way to a decision? I think that's also possible. Bet on Ty. I'd think about it. But Ty, dude, let me see about that. Ty to Ivasa out of camp. I saw one picture where he was fucking, oh, fuck. Dude, you want me to put this on you want me to literally, you want me to risk a parlay on this, bro? He did shoot on Nasrat. I just rewatched that fight this morning. He did shoot on Nasrat. He did. The only person he didn't grapple with was Anshul, and he knocked him out in the first, 5 seconds. How do you put this on a goddamn parlay? Look at this. And, the other thing, too, about Jack in general, though, about in terms of like betting on this fight to not go the distance at least, is that the thing that made Jack look so powerful against Belal was the fact that Belal kept trying to pressure him. Because Belal just, no matter what, was trying to stay in Jack's face, it turned him into a piñata. Like, Belal was practically running into Jack's punches, and that's why there were some moments where he was really hurting him. But look at the Islam fight. Look at Islam, who only tried to stay away from him. Jack's power didn't translate the same way, you know? In general, again, he's not known for having a shit ton of power. In general, he can knock you out if he lands accurately enough. But, you know, so I don't know if I can risk a parlay on that. But I think this is pretty solid, honestly. These two right here gives you plus 150 odds. I'm pretty confident in this, I think. Again, I'm just not, you know, I'm not. The only thing about Brando is he is pretty new to the UFC. He's only had a couple of fights. I guess you can throw Quillian on here if you're that certain. That does improve your odds a little bit. You double your money pretty much. Well, I mean, triple your money really, but double your money in profit with those three, I guess. I don't know, though, man. I'm a little nervous about Quillian. I don't know. Oh, Dark, never think where the 14s are. I got Elliot over Erceg due to his speed and takedown defense. Due to his speed and takedown. You know, listen, I will be completely honest. And listen, chat, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I mean, I've obviously watched Tim Elliot fight. I watched him fight Kai Asakura and shit live, but I didn't go back and rewatch any fights with him. Do you guys really think he has any ability to outstrike Steve Erceg? Be honest. I'll be honest, I didn't go back and do any specific research on him. I thought I kind of already knew. You tell me, chat. Am I actually off on this? I'm waiting. No, Tim Elliott's terrible. I've watched the O'Day fight. Tim Elliott's tricky. I'm going to do a poll because you guys are actually starting to freak me out a little bit. Just yes or no. Does Tim Elliott have a realistic chance? I'm not asking if he's going to win. I'm asking if he has a realistic chance. It's pretty razor close. It's pretty close. Like around 40, 50-ish, 60, 40 right now. Okay. It's close, though. I mean, shit, I don't know then. Okay, I will do some more research on fucking Tim Elliott then. I just didn't even watch any film on the guy. I just kind of thought it was pretty said and done how that fight was going to go. But okay, I mean, let's see then. Maybe... I mean, damn. Okay, if you want to throw Quillian on there, then I guess you can change it to over 1.5 rounds if you want to be safer about it. But what'll that win you? 150, 250 total, 154 in profit if you win this one. People are saying Quillian by knockout. I mean, yes, obviously that's how Quillian is going to win this fight, is via knockout, in my opinion. I'm just afraid because every single fight Quillian has ever had, I watched Elliot versus Asakura live. I saw it. Elliot got to his back really well. I mean, Elliot's a good submission artist, but Steve Erceg's grappling is the one thing that I'm super, super, super happy about. You know, that's the one thing I think he's very good with. You know, he straight up grappled kind of skill for skill with Pantoja, you know. And I figured Steve's going to be bigger, taller, probably the more accurate boxer. Steve's also kind of, I mean, it's tough to say. Steve's not, well, I mean, maybe not. I don't think they even have the odds yet. They probably will tomorrow for the KO knockouts, but it's going to be better odds than minus 485 or whatever it was. I'm just afraid that Quillian's going to try to grapple with Dariush because he tries to grapple with everybody. And I just don't think that's a good idea. I mean, it might be a good idea, but in terms of I'm betting my money on you, you know, I don't know. Mean Big 8, thank you for the $5, buddy. How do you think improved Prates does against Gary in a rematch? You know, again, we watched Prates versus Gary yesterday on stream, and like straight up, man, it's like fucking I got Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou vibes from it. Like, it was just like, you know how Francis was just like going after Stipe and winging shots, and Stipe was just moving his head and staying away? That's literally what it was. Prates was just only trying to walk him down, only trying to land one big right hand. Fucking Gary just kept slipping it and moving away, and then, you know, doing what he does. Shooting takedowns. Couldn't finish any takedowns really, but was shooting takedowns, you know, entering in, punch, 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 huge kick, you know. Okay, how does Prates with all of his extra footwork and movement, how does that look? I don't know. Probably still not good enough to win. I don't think so, at least. I think he's made some steps, but like I just need to see him set up his hands a lot better, you know? Which he did a little bit against Joff. He had some moments of going like 2 body shot, 2 headshot, and the punch was coming from the same place, which is good. I don't know though, man. Not enough for me to sit here and say like, yeah, it's gonna make a huge difference. Because I still think like, again, Prates just needs to find a way with the amount of power he has. He needs to really set up his hands very well in that matchup. Because Gary's gonna be just constantly looking to move away, constantly try to stay away. You know, I don't think Prates is gonna be able to do the knee to the body, right hand behind, or even use his knees to the body that well, because Gary's going to try to look to wrestle off of it. And also, you know, Gary is the taller, rangier guy in that matchup with better footwork, you know. So I think Prates has made some steps in the right direction, but I need to see him set up his hands better. I need to see better boxing combinations, more feints, you know, which again, I think he's done a little bit. But I just need to see a little bit more of to be certain. I mean, there's always a chance maybe improved Prates. He has a better chance of cracking him for sure, but not enough for me to really favor him. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction. Oh, wait, just swing, leave $0. Check Volk's breakdown, JDM injury in the first 3 minutes. Let me see.
To getting the win on that one. So Brando is the favourite, which is pretty big. Like, obviously, Brandon...
Wait, what the fuck? I never watched this video. I don't know why it was here. Maybe I clicked it on accident when I pulled it up.
UFC Perth this weekend. Let's break it down. I'm going to do a few fights. Obviously, a lot of Aussies, New Zealanders on this card. There may be a bias. Actually, there's always a bias, but luckily, with that bias, on the Australian cards, because I usually have like 10 Aussies or New Zealanders fight on the card, they usually do well. So it's my bias works in my favour usually, because that must be the energy in the crowd, what it is, but you know, Aussies, New Zealanders turn up, especially when we're here at home. So just remember that. But anyway, let's get into it. Jack Della, Carlos Prates. Incredible main event. We're lucky to have that in Perth with all the fights on the card. You know, we're going to be in for a treat. I'm going to be over there for this as well, so cannot wait. But let's break it down a little bit. Jack Della, obviously coming off a big loss, one that a lot of people are gonna, with Islam moving up and Islam doing so as well as he did. What do we say about that, right? Like, obviously Islam is that good of a fighter. Jack Della can do better. Was he going in there with? I mean, everyone goes in there with injuries, I know, but I mean, he wasn't going in there with some things. Obviously, I knew I went into camp. You know, you're going to try and work around those things, but when you
hold on, I can't. This Australian accent. Let me hear exactly what he said there.
Is that good of a fighter. Jack Della can do better. Was he going in there with, I mean, everyone goes in there with injuries, I know, but I mean, he wasn't going in there with some things. Obviously, I knew I went into camp. You know, you're going to try and work around those things, but when and you can. A lot of times you can. Like, and this is no excuse because you can work around a lot and still get your hand raised, no dramas. But when you got guys like Islam, and you know, if you're a little weak somewhere, you know what I mean, it's going to be a rough night. So I'll leave it at that. You know, I'm not going to make excuses for the guy. It just sounds like I didn't mean to. But anyway, who's the favourite for this?
Well, he didn't say anything about his calf, though. You guys said he said his calf was injured, and that explains why he had no movement. It explains why the calf kick bothered him so much. He didn't say anything about that. But yeah, he did say that Jack was injured, and he was hurt, and there was something wrong with him. And that, you know, it happens to everybody, but, yeah. Okay. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of people are hurt going into fights. It's just a fact, and who knows what it is. But listen again. At 3 minutes in, Volk talks about it again.
A bit too much. Can he just use a great jab, great combos? While you're trying to find those big shots, is Jack just landing those 3-4 pieces? You know what I mean? And then when you are trying to find yourself, you don't like where you are, you're trying to shift out, and he's just following you with these big hands that he likes to do. That's what I can see. Can he draw Jack Della into big shots? 100%. I think we're going to see maybe some big knees. I think we are going to see some big shots, but Jack Della's a hard bastard. I think he eats them I think he will be more effective. Even though he eats big shots, that's why it's going to be fun, as Jake was saying. It's going to be very fun. He's going to lean more. He's going to be more effective for more portions of the fight, and that's why he's going to get the win. Can any of these two get the finish? Yeah. I definitely think, Carlos is tough as well. Do we see 5-round banger? 100%. We might just see a 5-round banger. Honestly, we could be seeing that. I'm just going to lean towards Jack Della. I'm going to go just for the win. Very, very fun fight. Could definitely be...
He did not mention the injury at 3 minutes, me and Big 8. You lied to me. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, who knows? Again, I will say I was a little surprised when I first started doing research on JDM versus Prates, and I was watching JDM versus Kevin Holland. And dude, he kept like there were a few moments where JDM checked some calf kicks, and I was like, damn, since when can you do that? I was like, holy shit. I mean, you had no ability to stop the calf kick at all against Islam. Like, you were fucked right at the very start with the calf kick. Like, Islam, that was like the first 3 strikes he landed were clean, naked calf kicks. So, who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe that was a problem. Maybe that does kind of explain it a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, interesting. I guess we'll see, because I think Prates should try to be very kicking heavy in this fight. I think he should be trying to look for calf kicks. I think he should be trying to look for leg kicks, teeps, body kicks, head kicks even. You know what I mean? I think the less boxing against someone as good as JDM, the better. So, we'll see. I guess we're going to find out. Anyway, guys, we do have a big announcement, guys. We have a really, really big announcement. Let me see. Apparently, the trailer got dropped for Girthcraft. Where is it? Is this it? All right, guys. This is the huge announcement you guys have all been waiting for. Yeah, thank you, LEC. Look at that. We got to watch that again. That was better than I thought it was going to be, Ellie. So it says coming soon. It's out, guys. It's out. It's done. Girthcraft has launched. If you, I should actually hide this so you guys can't. But anyway, if you become a member, you are able to join our Minecraft server. We have a ton of people already in there. We're gonna have legitimately we're gonna have like a UFC, we're gonna have like an MMA organization in the server. We're gonna build an arena and shit, but it's gonna be a survival server. It's not gonna be anarchy. You don't have to worry about that. You're gonna be able to claim your housing, like, so people can't destroy your houses, but it is gonna be a survival server. If you become a member, there are a few things you have to install to play on the server, but Donlo in the Girthcraft section, he lays it out so simply. Like every little thing you have to do, he spells out every small step. It's really easy. I did it within 5 minutes. Girthcraft has launched. If you're a member, you're allowed to play on it. So yeah, this is gonna be huge. This is gonna be huge for the channel. Yeah, so no one can join freely. The server, oh, okay. Well, the download deleted that. But yeah, as soon as you get whitelisted, you become a member. You join the Discord. You talk about wanting to join, then you're in. Then you're in, and we'll whitelist you. No, it's not, Sir Night Offender. I thought it was gonna be a pain. I literally, because again, listen, I haven't played Minecraft since they fucking installed fucking rabbits. Was the first time. The last time I played Minecraft. So when I was like, oh, I gotta download stuff, but it's literally like 5 steps. I did it in 10 minutes. I was like, I'm done already. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then, it's gonna have proximity chat. There's a lot of cool stuff that this is gonna have. I'm telling you, this is gonna be a game changer when it comes to MMA. Wait, what is this? Is this another one? Okay, well, that was pretty good. What do you mean it was a pain? Then clearly you didn't do it right. Clearly you didn't do it right, Sir Night Offender. But yeah. Should I try to hop in and test the performance? Okay, I'll give it a try. We'll see if it literally destroys the stream. Let's try. So far, so good, I think. Oh no, Sir Night Offender. Oh, dude, I almost ran into that same problem as you, Sir Night Offender. But you can download all of them at once with one click of a button. You don't have to download each individual one. Yes, the Minecraft server's up. I'm testing it out right now to see if I can play. That was the first thing I told Donlo. I went, Donlo, I gotta download all these. He went, oh no, you just download them all at once. It works. I did it, and I don't know how to use computers. Donlo showed me. In the Google Drive, you download all of it to one file, and then you could just put it in the mods folder, and then boom, it's there. And I was like, okay, we're already done. Let me see. I think we opened it. I don't know. I am using a Chromebook. Guys, I did click this, right? Right? Oh, way too smoky. Thank you for the $5. React to James' most recent training video uploaded on his personal channel. The first half and last half of the video are him training. Coach warns knees. Okay, I'll take a look at that in just a second. Maybe I didn't click on this. Oh. Okay, it's loading then, apparently. All right, I'm going to give it a second to load, and we can pull that up. This one?
drop tomorrow.
Super accurate.
Come on,
man.
Is that what you got to be fucking kidding me. Come on, top.
Real is looking for 6 months to be a member. All right. Everybody enjoy this.
Hi, Alyssa. How are you? Good. How are you? Good. Hey, go ahead and take a seat. We were informed that there was a theft in the locker room earlier today. A couple people have told me that you were there, or at least around it when it had happened. One of them is here, so I wanted you to see who they were and they could explain a little bit more. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, come on in.
Hello.
Hi. You want to explain to Alyssa what you saw or what's going on?
What I saw was you stole my heart, Allie. Would you go to the prom with me?
I don't know. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Would you consider it? Did you think about it? But yeah, if you'll think about it for him. Give him a yes or a no sometime soon.
Listen to what he says. Dude, when she says, I don't know, he kind of just goes like, like, listen to him.
I don't know. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Would you consider it?
You hear that? He literally went, he had nothing to say. This school counselor needs to be fucking fired.
I don't know. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Would you consider it?
He went, yeah.
Oh, busy here, Justin. Busy here.
When does he warn against knees?
Gunfire, come on. Right. I've got Jackie 2 in the bank right now.
I'll tell you what, way too smoky. I'm going to take your word on that he says something about the knees, because I believe that. But I am on a slight time crunch, and I just want to make sure that I could actually play Minecraft. Yeah, I'll take your word on that. I mean, I'm sure, I'm glad to know that he is worried about the knees. That's very, very important. If I could actually stream Minecraft, this is going to be huge. Well, what I was told is that he was warned about the knees, but does they actually, in the video, do they work on the knees, or he was just told about them? Because that's a big difference. Fuck you, Don Low. All right. Stop. All right. I get it. Don't kill me. Ow. Okay. I get it. How do you sprint? Okay. Stop. I order you to stop. No. Oh. All right, how's it running? How is this actually running? Red Rotten Man Guy person, you have to talk. You have to go into the Discord and get it figured out. Donlo, how do you get out of the settings? Donlo, how do you get out of the settings? Oh. Okay. All right, is it running okay, or is it breaking the stream? Girth, nice. Nice. Yeah, this is all coming together, guys. This is the start of a new frontier. Who the fuck is this? Marshmallow Voldy? Who is this? It actually looks like it's running okay, which is really, really cool. All right, guys, this is huge. Oh, the stream's very... Is it? I think it was looking all right. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I'm on a pretty serious time crunch today. I'm going to have to run. But I do really appreciate you guys coming today. I love you guys so much. We will be in touch. Don't you guys even worry.